Hi, welcome back to BG Pythons and Happy New Year to everybody. This video I just thought I'd focus a little bit on pretty much my favourite species of snake, which is the Woma python. I have quite a few of these and this year I am hoping to breed them. So this is one of my male Woma pythons called Podrick. Now, Podrick's featured in a previous video. He is still relatively young, so he's like 2.5 years old. He's got pretty cool markings, quite different to my other Woma pythons. And he's kept relatively small. I mean, he's got a pretty good appetite. I would say now, I mean, I'm on quite a few forums with these guys. I've been tremendously lucky with them. I've never been bitten. I've kept Woma pythons since 2006, 2007. I think I've just been really lucky with the ones I have. They have this sort of legendary feeding response, but I would say when you've kept reticulated pythons and other things, it's I don't really see it myself. These guys are actually relatively gentle when they're feeding. They don't make too much of a fuss, whereas my ball pythons always make me jump, even though I know that the strike's coming. They got this fantastic sort of orange head. Tends to fade a little bit as they age, but it's probably can't catch quite on the camera, but it's quite distinct to the sort of cream and browns on the rest of Podrick's body. He is super cool, but this I've sort of made a decision that I wouldn't pair him up this year. I'm going to leave that until next year. I did sort of sneakily put him in with one of the girls and he looked petrified. So I just figured that it's probably a better call to wait until he's put on. And some of the advice I've got from people who've been successful breeding Woma pythons, they're tending to sort of suggest 3 years for a male is probably a good time. So another 6 months or so, he should be in good shape. But I'd be pretty pleased if I could produce something similar to him. He was bred by a good friend of mine, Andy Lucas. He's one of the nicest guys in the reptiles, and hope to get some more things from him in the future. So watch this space. But what I'll do is I'll share with you my stud muffin. He's been pretty busy, so I'll just go and get him out of the cage and swap him over. Hold on. Okay, so this guy is absolutely beautiful Woma python, who is pretty much 5 years old now. So he's a great age to be doing breeding. I have tried him. I did try him last year, but I didn't quite do it correctly. What I hadn't done is I hadn't sort of, once I'd locked, that's it, I called it a day, but I should have kept them together for a bit longer. But he's called Littlefinger. He's from Europe and is part of this sort of zebra-lined sort of lineage, which where they sort of tend to keep their markings into adulthood quite well. He's also got this rather cool dark stripe you can see, might not be able to see there, running down the whole of his back, which is super cool. Now I keep all of my Woma pythons in 4-foot vivs, or 1200 by 600 vivs, like these Viper vivs here. All, as you would have seen, they're all on the radiant heat panels and with LED lights. Now, for this year, trying to get, or the end of last year, trying to get them in a position to do some breeding, I took again some really good advice from people who've been successful, which is the best way of doing it. Is better than the books, if I'm honest, particularly because, you know, we're in the Northern Hemisphere and, you know, our seasons and things are so different. And the suggestion was towards the end of October, beginning of November, to start shortening the days by an hour a week, tending to keep them with a hot spot of around, well, just over 30 degrees, but around, I set it for 32. But in the evening, I don't completely turn off the heat. So I live in an old listed building, and the temps the house could get quite cold. But I let it drop down to 75, and this has sort of continued. And then beginning of December, I because he was so active, I thought, you know what, I'll put him in with my female, and they were kept pretty busy for a few days. Witnessed loads of locks, as you can see in the footage. You know, the classic wagging of the tail, a bit of excitement, and both lying there very comfortable and contented. So I continued that throughout December and into January, with keeping them together for around sort of 5 days or so, and then giving them a break, offering some food, and then leaving them for a few days and then putting them back in. And then again, I've been continuing to do that, and I've just stopped. So he's been sort of going between 2 females. One's proven, she's a much older girl, she's over 10 years old, and she's already looking quite big, funny enough. So I don't know whether it's a bit early for that sort of stuff to show, but she's certainly got the sort of shape. And so I'm fingers crossed this year. I think the key thing for me is possibly been not taking them out so early, and giving them plenty of opportunities to make sure there's some success there. So I want to hopefully keep you all posted on whether or not I get some ovulation with the females, and if I do, and we get a successful hatching, egg, you know, some success with the egg laying, then I will show you how I'm going to set up the incubator and in readiness. I just hope it doesn't coincide with a trip to Barbados that I've got planned. That will be quite irritating, won't it? But yeah, I'll keep you posted. But this would be massive for me personally, as being one of my favourite snakes. I love them so much because they're pretty hardy. As you can see, they're pretty easy to handle. They're relatively active compared to some of the snakes that stay hidden. So as a pet, you know, you get to see them quite a bit. On the whole, you don't have any issues with feeding. They're, you know, I do get a bit annoyed with all of the people that have had these experiences, or they bite and always hungry, always looking to think. I just not had that, and I think you with all snakes, it's like the green tree pythons I've got. You've got to treat them very differently than you would with a corn snake or a ball python. You need to learn how to read them, but I think they are brilliant. This, bearing in mind this is an adult male. It's not too big, pretty easy to handle. If it was to bite me, it's not going to, really hurt very much. If that was the case, but I literally never had any aggression from any of them. I've got black-headed pythons, as you may know if you've seen some of the other videos, and I've got another one coming soon, which I'm super excited about. But blackheads do get that little bit bigger. I mean, I've got one that's not nowhere near this thickness, but is longer than this one, and it's 18 months old. So they're a little bit more of a handful, and if you want to keep them in a suitable enclosure, you're going to need to invest in that sort of bigger size, whereas these can still be in 4 feet lives. That said, I would be hopeful that I might be able to upgrade these guys, give them a bit more room. We'll see what happens during the year, but I may look to do that and sort of change things around. But that lovely belly. But yeah, so I just thought I'd do an introduction to what I'm trying to do with these guys this year in terms of breeding. I'm hoping that I have some success, so touch wood. I have to do it now. I will do an update video along, just to see how these guys are progressing, whether or not I have any success, and if I don't, try and identify exactly what went wrong. Anyway, don't forget to subscribe, press the bell button, have a really good start to the year, and I'll speak to you all soon. Take care.